So why did I choose the law? That is, my answer to that question is like kind of ridiculously unplanned, because so was my legal career. I was never one of those people who watched TV shows and thought one day I'll be a lawyer. I had no idea. And I actually had no idea I wanted to go into the law until I was working after college. And I worked for a book publisher and I negotiated translation rights. It was not a JD required job. I think a lot of companies has it as like a JD preferred job. But in the process of doing that, I was doing a lot of boilerplate translation agreements. And occasionally I'd have something a little more complicated and I'd have to dig into some contracts and eventually meet with in-house counsel to kind of discuss the nuance of a deal. And at one point, our in-house lawyer actually said, like, where did you get your law degree? And I just kind of laughed and said, I'm not a lawyer. I, never even thought about it. But as soon as she said that, I went, why not? Maybe I should be. So then I applied for the LSAT, and within, honestly, less than a year, I was in law school. So I teach, currently I'm teaching torts and professional responsibility, and I also teach a privacy law course and a course on social media discovery. I'm looking forward to adding corporations to my repertoire, and perhaps a few other business courses. My own research and writing, a lot of the work that I do deals with law and technology. And I think part of growing up in the Bay Area, I did grow up in sort of a culture of innovation, entrepreneurship, and it's something that I personally really value. My dad was a small business owner. He started his own gardening business in the Bay Area. So there's a lot that I really value about technology and innovation and startups, for example. And so what I do for my research, I kind of have a few strands. I'm kind of a chase shiny objects person. So I'll sometimes find something really fascinating and then I'll go with it and go down the rabbit hole. But I write a lot about the role of social media in litigation. So I've focused a bit on social media. I've written about civil discovery rules in social media. So how do courts handle getting at someone's Facebook content in a tort case? With that, I've also written a little bit about ethics and lawyers using social media and what are the bounds of a lawyer's own use of social media. And then I have a kind of another strand that has taken me into the sharing economy, looking a little bit more about companies that are really disrupting our traditional relationships between business and employee and business and customer, and what that means for tort law. And I've taken that even to a new level where I'm writing about immunity for online intermediaries. So when someone posts something on a social networking site, the site itself is generally immune from lawsuits resulting from third-party content shared on its site. But that immunity provision, it's called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, has been pretty broadly interpreted. And I argue that it's perhaps too broadly applied. And I argue about some of the limitations we might impose at the margins to kind of rein in immunity for some of these platforms. And that's actually a forthcoming article, Platform Immunity Redefined, which will be out in William & Mary Law Review sometime next year. So that's another area where I'm sort of working on. So really I have, a common thread of sort of technology and business with a lot of different overlays of law. We have personal drive and passions that bring us to law school. A lot of it is, it can't even be as simple as I want to be able to have a stable, good career. But a lot of it is a lot more, I guess warm and fuzzy than that, right? We have sort of even like whether it's a social justice drive or it is, I want to be an entrepreneur and an innovator, regardless of sort of the passion behind wanting to be a lawyer. I think going to law school is like a life-altering event. We try to teach the whole person, and part of that is exposing students to a lot of these issues because we don't have answers for all of it. In fact, I'm looking forward to my students being the ones to, move the law forward in these ways. And so I think just having opportunities for speakers, workshops, et cetera, and ways to just even learn about these issues so that really the students, when they embark on their careers, can be the change makers that really kind of bring to fruition some of the solutions that we can barely even fathom right now. I'm really looking forward to being on the ground in Spokane. So I'll be there in June, and I'm excited to be joining the faculty.